here we are.
Well, good evening. Good evening, ladies. How are you? Hidden No More women. We are here this evening with our Hidden No More sister, Debbie McTammany. Debbie, I'm
Perfect.
so glad. Debbie schooled me on how to pronounce her last name correctly, y'all. We might fumble it a few times tonight, but you know what? It is all good.
All good.
But so excited to be here with her tonight, to have this opportunity to highlight her and her story. As we continue these interview sessions throughout Women's History Month, I know you all are going to enjoy this tonight. If you're here, please let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love to know. We'd love to be able to greet you. But we're just going to dive right in tonight here with Debbie. We will not belabor the time. So, Debbie, thank you so much again for this opportunity.
Absolutely. Oh no, I'm thrilled. We had such a good chat earlier this week, and just kind of here to help lift others.
Yes.
I think this is so important, especially as a tribe of women. We need to help each other. We need to support each other, because sometimes it's hard to find our tribe. But women coming together is very powerful, because we can learn from each other, we can support each other, and we can love upon each other, which is really so much of what we need nowadays.
So good, so true. And we're just grateful to have you here in this space to do that tonight. I know that your story is going to uplift women. I know that it's going to encourage some in this group, and to spur them on as they continue to align and rise in their purpose and power. So we're going to start off. I'm just going to kind of preface this whole thing with, who is Debbie McTammany? Tell us about yourself.
Okay, so this is an interesting question, because when I hired my first coach, she said, "Who is Debbie McTammany?" And this is how I answered. This is how I answered 4.5 years ago. I said, "I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, and I'm a sister, and I am a friend." And she said, "Great, but who is Debbie McTammany?" And you know what I did? I cried.
Oh
I
my
said,
gosh.
I said, it's not the right answer? And she said, "No." She said, "It's any answer you want it to be is right." But she said, "Who are you?"
Wow.
And I said, I don't know that. I said, I don't know that. So that was really quite profound for me, because I said I answered by my roles, not who I was. And right there, walking around Edgewater, Maryland, just crying, because I'm like, how can this be? I'm in my mid-50s and I don't know who I am. How did that happen? And so now I answer as the who is Debbie McTammany. And Debbie McTammany is a woman who's found her passion. I'm able to feel emotion. I'm able to express emotion, embrace emotion. I feel a lightness to me. I feel happy. I feel content. I feel purposeful. I have laughter. And that was one of the things that so many people told me. They're like, "You never laughed." And I said, I didn't have time to laugh. Life was too serious. Too many things were spinning. I didn't have time for laughter. And now I laugh, and I sleep so much better now too. I sleep much better. So Debbie McTammany is the person who's reinvented herself. And I'm able to hold space for people. I have created relationships that I never thought I would create, in spaces that I would never be in. But I am now aligned with myself. And that's
absolutely beautiful. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
It's interesting, because, and I love starting off with that question, Debbie, because that really is the question that we all, at some point in our lives, prayerfully, we ask ourselves that question, or someone else asks us that question, and prompts us to really think about it. We get so caught up in life, right? Like you said, I didn't have time to laugh. Life it happens, right? It's so easy for it to become so serious that there's no room, there's no space for us to even explore
Yeah.
who we really are at our core. That hands
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
hands down, the
Yeah.
most beautiful answer that I've ever heard. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I know we'll get into that a little bit more here shortly, in just a few minutes.
Yep.
But I would love to ask you as well. So who are some of the women who have inspired you, who have shaped your life throughout your journey?
Well, this goes back to my high school biology teacher, Mrs. Smoker, who is probably no longer with us. Um, it was advanced biology. I don't even know why I was in this advanced biology class. I'm not a good science. I wasn't even going to ever major in science, but she was so tough on me because she's like, you have such an ability, but she's like, you are just not applying yourself. And she was really tough. And she didn't curve anything. So she just made me really be accountable for myself. And I will know she was one of the hardest teachers I've ever had because she actually really cared. Although I did, she really did. So I remember her, and that's many, many years ago, but she was so impactful to me. My mother has been so impactful to me. I mean, yeah, it was I had a great upbringing, but lots of, money insecurities and a lot of things along the way. But she was always very devoted. We always went to church together. She did everything she could to provide for my brother and I. And, she had a difficult relationship with my father. Things are better now, but just all the trials and tribulations, but how she always stood strong and conviction and her love for us. I've always felt that. So she is one of the, because even to today, she's 83, but she still walks like 5 miles a day. She looks about 60, and she's still an inspiration, still working part-time.
Wow.
Still an inspiration. So I've learned so much from her over my span of my life. So she's been very, very influential. And then I've had professional colleagues that I have met along the way that I just how did she get to be that person? Like, how did she get to be so free and carefree and loving? And so I've always looked to other strong women, not to model them, but to see how they created that for themselves. How did they create space? How did they hold space for them to become that?
Yeah.
So I strong women as well too for some of my inspiration, because I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah. Amazing. I love that so much. We really are. And just as you shared in the beginning, and can do so much, and we are so much more powerful together. And so I'm so grateful for this space. And I'm grateful for the women in it, as we truly are, as we get to glean from each other, as we share our stories, as you're doing here today.
Right.
As Lauren shared on our frame, it can literally save someone else's life. It can literally transform someone else's life, and our stories give each other hope. And so I love that you share that, as from watching your mom, right? As we're living out a story. As you watch other women, just it's so much more impactful than I think we allude to sometimes, or that we verbalize and share. So thank you so much for that. I love it so much.
That's an easy question.
Beautiful, beautiful. So we have a few comments here. I see Lauren is here. Hello, Lauren, our sister. My sister Regina is on. Love it, love it. Yes, that she is a part of my tribe, as is Lauren. So glad to have you both here. I love what Regina said, deep who you are, not your roles. We are not our titles. We're not our roles. I love that. Yes, this is so good. Nakia is here, my daughters. So good. Yes, we are so powerful together. So thank you all so much for tuning in live. We're going to continue on here as we have to dive into this story, y'all. This story, when I heard it, oh my goodness, I was like, we have to highlight this. We have to share this here in this group, because it's so powerful, so powerful. So we're going to jump right in. So we've asked Debbie who she is. But Debbie, you guys, the Debbie that we see here today, the life coach Debbie of 4 years is not who Debbie has always shown up as. It's who she's always been, but it's not who Debbie has always shown up as. So we're going to take our time and navigate through highlighting this story to Debbie. How did you get here today, 4 years in, as an amazing life coach who is helping others discover who they are? How did you get here today?
So I got here by, here's the story. So I took a job, I got married and I moved to Maryland. I took a job and I literally worked my way up from, like, I think I was customer service. And I moved up and it was a huge company. I was a mentor to many people. I got to travel throughout Canada, internationally for the company. I was usually one woman and 10 men around me because it was for the management level, it was very few women. I was in dental. So I got used to, like, they were all my brothers, that was just my world. It was me and my 10 besties. So for years, I thought, I'm going to retire from this company. There's no way I'll never retire from it. I mean, it was just everything. It was the job, the money, the perks, the car, the benefits. It was everything. It was everything that you aspire to, that you want to have. And then when you have it, you realize you're just miserable. Just miserable. You're not yourself. You can't hold space for anybody. You are angry, you are sad, you are lonely. You just, like, I kept raising my hand because I was a manager. I became the branch manager for a large, a $60 million branch, 50 employees, salespeople, literally selling equipment up and down the Virginia corridor, going to meet doctors, getting sued by doctors, crazy stuff. Every day was a wild West experience. And then, I just ignored myself. I knew my inner compass, my inner light, my inner voice, my whisper said, you have to change.
Wow.
And I was afraid to put my resume together to get it out because the dental world is very small. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, somebody's going to find out. So I kept raising my hand every time there's another job. I'm like, can I go over there? They're like, no, you're doing great. I'm like, I like this job. Like, I don't care. I don't like this job. But the money was good. 2 kids in college. I was allowed. I had the luxury of affording what I wanted to have. Doesn't buy you happiness. Doesn't buy you happiness. So October the 13th, I walked in. My boss happened to be there. We were having another small little problem with one of my salespeople. And I walked in and he said, well, we need to talk about this. And we sat down in the conference room. And at 9:10, I said, I quit. I'm leaving. He goes, what are you doing? I was like, I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore. And he said, do you have another job? I said, no. I said, I can't even believe I just said this. I said, the words just came out of my mouth. And I said, I'll just pack up my office. I had the beauty dream office. Like, this is like my chair and my light. And I said, I'll have my husband, I guess, come get my furniture. I don't know. But I said, I'm going to go. And he said, I'll call you tomorrow. And I'm like, no, you don't have to call me. I was like, I have to do this. Like, I cannot do this.
Wow. So
I came home. I cried the entire way home. I called my parents. And of course, they say, well, that was very irrational, right? You're a mature woman. You need to have another job. What are you going to do? You have 2 kids in college. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't know.
God.
I told my husband and he was so happy. He was so happy. He said, wow. It's okay. He goes, I wanted you to leave years ago, but you couldn't hear us.
Mm.
Your friends kept telling you this, but you would not allow yourself to hear what we were trying to point out to you, what was right in front of you, how he goes, you've been working so hard and you don't even like it. So he goes, it's okay. And I said, we have two boys in college. And he's like, it's all right. We'll figure it out. We will figure it out. So, I mean, that is unconditional love.
Yes. Yes. What support
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
very person that, oh my goodness, that is so beautiful.
Yeah. So we took a little time. He said, you know, you need time to heal, to feel. So they called me. They said, do you want to go back? And I was like, I can't. I have destroyed myself. And I just realized that now. I just realized, and I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm unemployed. That much I know. I'm unemployed. So I took a little bit of time. As I told you, I hired a life coach and I hired a therapist because I wasn't sure what I needed. So I hired one of each.
Cover all the bases.
Exactly. My doctor said medication. I'm like, no, I don't need medication. I'm going to hire 2 support people. And I did the therapy approach, but I like the therapist. I still stay in touch with her, but it wasn't that I needed. First life coach helped me, ask me that question, who is Debbie? And then she said, what does Debbie want to do? Well, cried for like another 3 weeks because I'm like, get a job. She's like, do you really want to get a job? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I had to, right? Don't I have to? Society tells us to do is get a job because I'm in college. And she's like, you get to decide. It's like Lauren, I always tell Lauren, you get to decide. So we figured it out a little bit. I mean, it wasn't very pretty financially, but we figured it out. So I took like 4 months off, and then my husband was diagnosed with cancer. Right at the time, I said, you know, I need to go back and find something. He was diagnosed, craziest story ever.
Wow. Crazy
story ever. He had a brain tumor, no indications of a tumor whatsoever. We thought he had the flu. He ended up having, long story short, we thought he had the flu, ended up in the emergency room because he kind of passed out. They had a scan his head and they found the tumor.
My God.
A blessing. A blessing.
Wow.
Because he had no symptoms whatsoever, which all the doctors said that's unbelievable. Like, because it's right at the base of his optic nerve. So that's what I did for a year and a half, because when you get that cancer diagnosis, it changes your life in one moment. We're sitting there. I remember hearing the doctor, and my 2 questions were to the doctor, are you sure you're in the right room? And does my husband have the flu? And he's like, we don't care whether he has the flu or not right now. And yes, I'm in the right room. And we met this most unbelievable oncologist who happened to be on call. And I spent a year, well, we still see each other periodically. I spent a year and a half with Dr. Marcan almost every week with my husband, in and out of the cancer center.
My goodness.
And so it worked out.
Thank God. Thank God. Oh my goodness.
God knows the path.
Yes.
I would have had to leave my job anyway, because, you know, my husband had to be at all these immunotherapy appointments, radiation appointments. You know, I as a caregiver had to understand a whole new language. I'm like, how do you spell that? What does that mean? And then you're like, are you in the right spot? You know, for treatment, are we getting the right treatment?
Yeah.
So a year and a half of just learning how to provide care for somebody with cancer. There's no training on that. There is none. So I was, you know, it was a blessing in disguise. It was a blessing in disguise that I could be there. I was at every appointment. I was the caregiver. I, you know, almost killed him one time with a little too much medicine, but milliliters or pills. I was like Dr. Mark, it's like, oh my gosh, no. But, my husband was so appreciative because he was never by himself for that year and a half. And I was the sole provider, caregiver, so I knew what was going on. This is much easier, So we got through that, and then right after that, I said I want to become a coach. So I got my certification. I did have to go back to work for a little bit because he was out of work, and we're like, okay, nobody has income coming in here. Yeah, so I went back to work for a little bit, actually in retail, something completely different for me. I was there for a year. I'm still there, but now I'm in part-time, and I make cheese boards part-time, like 12 hours a week.
Sounds fun.
I really like it. I really like it. It's completely outside of what I used to do.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy there.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm happy there. So I was there for a year full-time, and I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm not going to do this. Step down part-time or let me go, whatever. And they put me in the cheese department, and I'm like still there, working my way out.
Loving it. That's my favorite part. You love it. You enjoy it.
I do.
Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. And going back to, you get to decide. You get to decide. I never
knew that power. Like, it's that voice, that whisper. I always had it in me. I heard it, but I was afraid. I was scared because society says you should be doing all these things financially, as a mother, I'm to provide for my children. So who am I to say I'm leaving a job? Like, who does that? I did. I mean, I say to other people, please do not replicate this. It's just, it all aligned because it was all meant to be. Yeah. And then when my husband got cancer, I'm like, that's absolutely the reason why this all aligned. Absolutely.
That's your journey. Each of our journeys are unique. Yes.
Yep. I was so with beautiful. Him that it all happened, because if not, I wouldn't have been with him. I wouldn't have been when he got taken to the hospital. I would not even been in this area.
Wow. Yeah, listen, God knows.
He does.
I know what society says. Just as Debbie is, society says this. It's supposed to look this way.
Yep.
Like, God always knows. He always knows. Way beforehand, before we were here, before Debbie was married, before the job, he knew. And his timing is always perfect.
It is.
It's never wrong. Never wrong. Literally positioned you to be home, to be able to take care of your husband, who you thought had the flu, but ended up having a cancerous tumor. Only God, you guys, absolutely amazing. So we have to keep going. So we're getting into the meat of it. This is so good. This is so, and I'm so glad you're taking your time and giving us these little details, because God is in every detail. He's in every detail. And so to see it played out, we've got to know, we got to get these little nuggets in between here and these little pieces to the story, because they so matter, you guys. They so matter. So you get to this point, you've been able to be home, taking care of your husband, and then you get to choose now that you're making cheese boards part-time. And so from there, where do we go? Where do we go next?
So from there, I finished my certification after my husband was, we had things somewhat under control, because then also I had two boys who were afraid that their father was dying. Right. So, I mean, they're at college, right? Wow. So, just trying to explain to them and then be strong for them, to be strong for them, because they were terrified. We were all terrified, but as my role as the caregiver was to protect my husband, to provide the best care, to get the best care for him, and to keep everyone back, because everyone wants to come and surround you, which is wonderful, but there are no words. You're just trying to take one step. and then make sure he's okay. It was all about what he needed, right? And we had so many people organizing so many food drives. I'm like, no more food, like no more food. Like he's not even eating. Like I can't do all this food. But that's how people take care of you, right? Is
Sure.
Food drives.
Yes.
And church was wonderful. The minister was always up with us because in the cancer journey, in every cancer journey, you take steps forward and then you will take one step backwards. I learned that from our radiologists and oncologists, and Mike had a very difficult step backwards. He became allergic to one of the chemo drugs.
Oh my gosh.
We ended up in the hospital. Craziest story ever. I ended up in the hospital because one of the we have a landscaper guy that was working one day outside, and my husband was like Frankenstein. Like he couldn't think. He was like walking like a zombie. So I'm like, something is wrong. So I'm trying to get him into the car. He's a big boy. I couldn't get him into the car. So this landscaper guy comes over and he goes, "Is your husband like drunk?" And I'm like, "No, he has cancer. Something is wrong." So he's like, we get him into the car. He's like, "Do you want me to follow you?" I'm like, "No, I can't get him into the car. Like he's just too big. I can't push."
My goodness. Oh my goodness.
Landscaper guy, right? There
Thank God
there,
for the landscaper being there. Yes.
Right. So so once we got through the whole cancer thing, then I finished my certification, and then I like launched my little business right when COVID started, right? And I've never been a solo entrepreneur, right? I've been in the corporate space, I don't know, there were just clients out there. So I literally wrote a letter to like 5 or 6 people that I knew that would know other people. And I was like, I can't even believe I'm like doing this. And I made this video. If I look at this video now, it is so hysterical because I didn't know how to make videos. So I had to like up in a book and I had a piece of paper and write the video stuff up. It was so funny. But I'm like, well, this is how I announce my business or something.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, that was 4 years ago. I'm scaling my business now. And now what I've learned about myself is just to be in service to others. There are many women that we struggle with change. We're afraid of change.
Yes.
We're scared. We know. My website all talks about, we know inside what our answer is. We just have to bring it out. We have to trust. We have to have confidence. We have to be able to laugh at ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to be able to love ourselves, to forgive ourselves. And as women, in the circles, the networking circles that I'm in, we are all so busy just trying to survive from one day to the next. As moms, we play that role, and we wake up one day and you're an empty nester and you're like, now what do I do? Because I'm an empty nester now. Both my boys are gone and they're on their own. And that was very difficult too, because you still want to be a mom.
Sure.
And they're like, hey, I'm 29 and 26. I don't need mom all the time. I'm like, well, now what do I do with myself? Right. So it's kind of working through that. But a lot of it is just I'm putting myself in circles where I can help lift others. Because my story is, I think, a story, unfortunately, many women can relate to, is feeling like they're forced to stay in a relationship, forced to stay in a job, forced to stay in something that they know they're whispering inside. Them to leave, but they're just afraid. They're just afraid to take the first step. And when you take the first step, so much changes. Even if it's not the right first step, it doesn't matter. It's just the first step. So yeah, so that's literally my story. I mean, I never would want anybody to have that story where you get to the point where you feel you have to leave something because you have no, I just couldn't do it. It's like the volleyball that you push down in the water, and it flew up that day. It just flew up. And then all my friends that they were so happy. I'm like, well, tell me. They're like, we've been trying to tell you for years. You just didn't listen to us. You didn't listen. You just work more, right? You work more to avoid the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's so easy to, I love what you said. You said ignore yourself.
Yes, that's
Man, if that wasn't a good nugget right there.
Mhm.
It's so easy to ignore ourselves, and it's so easy to miss it and to just keep going in the mess when you're so deep in it.
Yes. Because you
There's
can't see how
something,
deep you're in. You can't see it. You can't see it.
it's, you have no, that's why everybody from the outside is, they can tell you, they can, whatever, but you're so engulfed in it, you don't even realize how far gone you are, and it, oh my goodness, and it leads, but everybody has a breaking point.
Yeah.
We all have a breaking point, but what I also hear you saying is that we don't have to wait until we get to that point.
No, and in hindsight, I mean, there were so many nuggets there. There were so many, the flares were flying everywhere, but I just buried my head and I was like, now I'm working like 7 days a week because there's a problem that I don't know what to do with it. So all this work, I don't even like the job, but I'm just gonna keep working because I'm in control. I feel like I'm in control of that, where everything else outside of my life is not, I'm not in control of right now.
Yeah.
So I just buried my head and just hoped and prayed it was gonna go away or something was gonna get fixed. And that's what I did. And I think we do that a lot of times in our lives. It just takes guts to say, I can't do this anymore. Or it takes it just, the words just come out. It's just God's way of saying, that's it. You are done. You cannot stay here anymore. It's time for you to go do something else. And it comes that powerful. It comes that powerful. Because I can't do it. I could not do it. The words came out of my mouth. And I was like, oh my gosh, what did I just say? And they all, like, my boss looked at me and he goes, what? Like, what? Are you all right? I'm like, no, I'm leaving. Like, I quit.
Wow.
Are you giving notice? I'm like, no, I'm leaving. That's it. Done. And he goes, you're smiling. I'm like, oh my, I said, it happened. It just happened. It happened.
My
No.
goodness. So you couldn't ignore Debbie anymore. That day, that was it. That
Yep.
was it. And as you
No.
guys saw, Debbie walked away from a $250,000 salary because she could not ignore Debbie anymore. And I just talking about the control piece. When we try to maintain control and hold on to some level of control, it always comes with a cost. It always comes with a cost.
Yeah, it does. It does. And now in hindsight, it was the last job promotion I got that really did it for me. It was just, it was being in charge of everyone and everything. And it was just, maybe I did a good job with it. I just did not resonate with that job. Where I was, the prior job was like my jam. I was good. It was the last job that just took me out. And I kept raising my hand, but I wasn't vocal enough to say, no, I want to go do something else. Please let me go do something else. Because they kept saying, oh, well, why would you want to do that? And I just wasn't strong enough in my conviction to myself to say, because I'm miserable.
Yeah.
And so I just ignored it.
Wow. Guys, if this is good, I see some comments coming through here. Please let us know. Lauren, speak. This is good. Emma says, love all of this. Debbie's website is now in the chat. Please check it out. Make sure that you bookmark it. God's timing is never wrong, and change is the only constant. Embrace it, my sister Regina. Absolutely beautiful. As we're talking about change, Debbie and I were talking the other day, and we talked about uncertainty. Oh my goodness, my life has been full of uncertainty. But I've never quite heard someone talk about uncertainty in this way. And one thing that Debbie said during our conversation is uncertainty can be used as a tool. It's a tool. We have to talk about that for a few minutes this evening, because oh my goodness, uncertainty and unknown is such a huge thing in our lives. It's such a struggle. Even hearing the words, it's triggering for a lot of people. Uncertainty and unknown. But oh my goodness, our lives are full of it, you guys, every single day. As Regina said, the only constant, change is the only constant. Change is inevitable, you guys. Change is a part of life, and it's always going to come with a certain level of uncertainty and unknown. So Debbie said uncertainty is a tool. And I was like, ooh, wait a minute, because I've never heard anyone put it quite that way. So we're going to talk about this. We got to talk about this for a moment, Coach Debbie. You got to elaborate a little bit and bless these ladies tonight and just unpack that a little bit for us.
So when you learn to embrace uncertainty, then you learn to be comfortable with it, to not be in fear of it, to honor it. Because what I learned was uncertainty, why it might be hard. What is even worse is staying in the stuck mentality.
Say it again. Say it again, Coach Debbie.
Why uncertainty is hard. What is even worse is staying in the stuck mentality. Because you know it's not your lane, but you're like, but I don't know what I want to do. There's so many variables over here. But when you learn how to manage your thoughts, which manage your emotions, you can go through that. And if you have a tribe and you have family, they will help you go through that. So uncertainty, when you learn how to manage it, is the best tool you can have in your toolbox, because then you're somewhat in control of your life if you put yourself in the driver's seat, right? And you have yourself in the driver's seat, and uncertainty and scared and fear, everything else is in your passenger seat. And you're just like, hey, quiet over there. I got the wheel. We're on the right path. Stop talking. Well, stop talking, right? It's that. Yes. That's why I say it, because it took me 4 years to be open to, I can't control all things, right? And I'm walking in my beliefs, I'm walking in my love of, everything that's around me, but I cannot control all things. So I stay in my lane, and I learn how to love my lane and manage in my lane. And that has been a game changer for me. Because there's no problems. My father's just been diagnosed with cancer. Here we go again, right? Life keeps going on. Yeah. Life keeps going on. But I now have the tools from my coaching work to help coach myself. And I always have a coach. I will always have a coach. I'm in coaching groups. I'm surrounded myself with very strong women that say, what is the thought you're having? And I'm like, oh, you don't even want to know what that is, right? But uncertainty can be a tool when you are comfortable with who you are, and you're comfortable with just being in your own skin and making your decisions, and the consequences of those decisions will be the consequences of those decisions. That's all it is.
Wow. Wow. So fitly and beautifully said. Love your lane. I love that. Love your lane. Love your lane. I also hear you saying, so, control is like, it's an illusion anyway, right? Like, there's so much more power and even control in relinquishing control.
Yes. Very good point. Yes. Yeah. Like, I don't feel like I have the death grip on my steering wheel anymore. Yeah. Like, my GPS says right, left, or whatever, and I can go right or left. I'm good. Like, I was death gripping that steering wheel before. And now, GPS, my quote unquote, my life GPS goes this way. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what did I find over here? Because you just learn to make the best of that, what God has provided, what God has taken you over to do. Yes. You're like, oh, I'm over here for a reason. I find that reason. That's all.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I just shared something. It was yesterday, today. I don't know which day it was. It's Thursday, right? Ladies, it's Thursday.
Yep.
I don't know what day it is, but that everything that happens is pregnant with purpose, and that God is frugal. He wastes absolutely nothing. So I should say, if we go left or we go right, if we go in reverse and we make a whole 360 turn and go in a different direction, that it's all going to be used. It's all going to lead. It's all pregnant with purpose, and it's going to lead us to where we need to go at the time that we need to be there. And we're going to learn and gain so much along the way.
Right.
So much. It's so packed. It's so packed with goodness and potential and in fruit that it can even be exciting if we allow it. If we allow it to be. And it sounds like we have to have a shift in our mindset and how we approach it and how we perceive it, so that it doesn't have to be this huge thing that gets us all frazzled and, like you said, gripped with fear and all these different things. But when you view uncertainty as a tool, it can become something that excites us, something that is just like, oh my goodness, it's an adventure, y'all. Life is an adventure.
It is.
It's an adventure.
It is. But we become so we become so stuck in our ways, like, like this is what we do and this is all that we do. And then when something comes upon us, we can't even see that an opportunity is right in front of us because we're so busy staying in our lane. And that I can't go outside of my lane. Like, oh, why would I do something like that? And like, how would I do that? And that's really what the work that I did when I first hired my coach was, really unpacking me. And that was really, really hard. I mean, I cried for 6 months walking around Edgewater, Maryland. Cried. I'm like, how did I get here? Like, how did this happen? I just wanted to understand how, and it didn't matter how. It was like I was there. So now, how do I go on? How do I, if I'm going to change, how do I change myself? How do I redesign myself? And who do I want to be? Who do I want to be? Because I get to decide who I want to be. And I was like, God, that's just like so powerful. I didn't understand that before. Like, where did I miss? I must have missed that chapter in the book, because life doesn't have a manual. Life does not have an instruction manual.
Wow. And I love that. And how, I have to say there, how is never as important as why.
Yes.
How is never as important as why. And Coach Debbie, I am so glad and so happy that we get to sit here today and we get to eat on the fruit of your journey of, you had to go through some things. All the things that preceded these last 4 years of Coach Debbie were necessary for us to experience you and who you are today.
Right. No, and now I get to share these gifts with others. Right. That's my work now that I've been shown to carry forth. Very simple. It's very clear to me.
My goodness. And you get to do it with such clarity and such conviction, because you've walked through this journey of discovering who you are.
Yes.
And regaining the power of, I get to decide. Society doesn't get to decide for me. My circumstances don't get to decide for me. 2 kids in college, job loaded with every benefit that you could ever want.
And it wasn't enough.
But it wasn't enough. Success in society's definition does not equal happiness.
No. You get there and you run that long race and you get there and you're like, this is what I was running towards. this is it. Yeah, this is it.
Wow. And there's so many people, they finally reach the mountaintop.
Yep.
Right. And we see all these images all the time. You get to the mountaintop and your hands are up in the air and there's this huge celebration going on.
Mm-hmm.
But every mountaintop is not the same.
No.
You don't always find the joy and the peace and the fulfillment and the happiness and all those things. They're not at the top of every mountain.
No, they're typically not. They're typically not. And I always say, you don't know the life that's behind people's front doors.
I love that.
Right? Because on social media and everything, we see everyone's happy. They, perfect pose, perfect everything. But we all have our trials and tribulations that we carry within. And I did. I mean, I had, everyone's like, oh, you're smiling, you're happy. I'm like, I had like that, like on my website, I had that face on of I'm happy, everything's great. Going, oh my gosh, I'm so miserable, but I don't even know what to do.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I'm aligned. It's like literally that simple, but I am aligned because it's just me now. It's just me and my relationships and my love and where God's directing me. And it's just opening and I'm connecting with so many different people groups I never thought I would be. We're going to do like a local women's empowerment group of like health practitioners. Like, I don't even know how I got in that space. I don't even know. I was there last Thursday night. All of a sudden we're doing something like this now. I'm like, all right, sign me up.
Oh, I love it. The power of being aligned though.
Yeah, it is.
It's the power of being aligned because it will lead you to those very places that you never imagined yourself going. Ever. Right? Who knew? Like looking back 4, 5, 6 years ago, I'm sure there was no plan. No, there was nothing written in one of your journals. There was nothing on one of your vision boards. There was no sight of you being a part of some of the things that you're a part of now and the doors that are opening for you to show up as Debbie.
As Debbie, yeah. And now I get to help others because I understand. I've been there. So I feel like I'm like the kind of like the light for others, like the flashlight that says, I'm here, I can help you. Like I'll help, like I'll go with you. Like we have a light, we have a compass. We'll figure this out. Like it's like when I'm my coaching, it's your work to do, but I can help you because I truly do understand that. I was probably that was my life as well too. And you don't have to do it alone. Nobody should have to do any of this alone, but we're afraid to really sometimes be honest, even with some of our friends and our family.
That's real talk.
Yeah, we're sometimes afraid of that. And I was a little afraid of that.
Yeah, that is real talk. I have this saying, we say, do it afraid, but you don't have to do it alone. Do it afraid, but you don't have to do it alone. And that's why I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for this community. Again, I'm so grateful for the women that are in it. I'm so grateful for you that we have a safe place. I remember so many seasons in my life where I felt like I had the responsibility of showing up and faking that I was okay. I had to put on the face. I had to play the role. I had to look the part.
Yeah.
And
it's exhausting. It is exhausting to play that role.
Yeah.
And then you're not even sure what role you're playing. You are so confused as to what role you're playing. Yeah. Oh, it's overwhelming.
It really is.
Overwhelming. And that's my goal in life. If I can help one or two other people not have to do that, I am all here for that.
Wow.
Life is too short to play those roles.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now, only thing that's promised to us is this next moment. This next moment. And I pray as people are listening, as you come back and you watch the replay of this, that you maximize your moments. Maximize your moments, ladies. because it's so, so worth it. What's on the other side? What's waiting for you?
Right. And never be afraid to raise your hand and say, I need help.
I need help.
That's
I
all.
love it.
Or something's off. I'm not even sure what it is, but
Mm,
just something. Just raise your hand
mm,
and just let somebody know. That's all.
that is so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Raise your hand. That's all. Just raise your hand. There's
My,
people around you that will help. You just have to say, something's off.
yeah.
I have so many, if I could just look back on so many things I could have done
Mm,
with my voice, but I didn't. But it got me here. So that was my journey. It's okay.
thank
It's
God.
all good.
Thank God. Yes. Again, where I'm so grateful. I'm not grateful for the things that you had to endure, but I'm so grateful for the fruit and what has come out of it again, and that we get to glean off of it and we get to experience it today, just through your presence, even through this. I don't know if you guys could see, every time I talk to Debbie, I can just see how she is just this bright light, not just light shining, but even in weight. There's this lightness to her persona and to her essence because of where God has brought her to. And so I hope you all see that as well, shining through today, as Debbie has allowed us to highlight her story. It's been so, so beautiful. And as we get ready to close out, I know you've given us so many nuggets this evening. Oh my goodness. But just final thoughts. If you can think back, and there's somebody listening today who's almost to that breaking point. They're almost there, and they are just, they're tired, they have nothing else to give, they're so unhappy. What final words would you have for them today?
Honor yourself. Honor yourself. You know. You know. Honor yourself. And it's okay to ask for help. Don't go over your line where you know your line is. You don't need to cross over. That's not God's purpose. It's to push us further. It's just okay to say, I just need help, and honor what you're feeling and what you're thinking and what you're carrying. You might be carrying things that are not even meant for you to carry.
So good. Well, ladies, there you have it. We can drop the mic on that one. Listen, ladies, Coach Debbie's website is here in the comment section. We'll also drop her social media links there. She is absolutely amazing. You've seen the power of coaching, even you've heard it through this story. This group is meant to be a place where you can come and raise your hand. Hear that? Where you can come and raise your hand. There's some powerful, amazing women in this group. And I know there are more, many more to come. But this is a place where you can come and you can raise your hand. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out. I know that Coach Debbie would love to hear from you. Lauren would love to hear from you. Regina, anybody in this group really would happily respond to you raising your hand. So do it afraid. Do it afraid. But you don't have to do it alone. And that's why this space is here. And I know you're going to be seeing more of Coach Debbie. This won't be the last time that you hear from her. But thank you so much again, Debbie. Thank you for doing me this honor, doing us this honor, and sharing your story with us here this evening. So powerful, so beautiful. And I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you and for your life. and all those who you've helped and those that you're going to continue to help as you just show up. And she's not joking, y'all. All she wants to serve. Those are Coach Debbie's words. I serve. That's her mission when she
Even
shows
in a little
up.
cheese shop, even in a little cheese shop, they call me Coach Debbie. Like, Coach Debbie, I'm listening. Go ahead. I'm listening. I can help.
I love it. My sister Regina on here always says your platform or where your feet are planted today. So Coach Debbie, even in the cheese shop, okay, ladies, she is showing up to serve. So again, thank you so much. This has been so amazing. Ladies, tune in. We will continue next week, next Thursday. We'll be doing a special segment, something that's a little just personal to me as well. I'm super excited to share with you all as this is Women's History Month and being a woman in STEM. We could not end out the month without sharing something on that. So that will be coming next week. Make sure you tune in next Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Central, 6 p.m. Central. Lauren, I needed you for this one. 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern next Thursday, as we close out the month. You all, March is gone. March is pretty much gone. This is absolutely crazy, but we have some exciting things coming even as we go beyond this month. Cannot wait to share them with you and just continue to grow and continue to connect with you ladies. So thank you so much again, Debbie.
You're welcome.
So appreciate it. Cannot wait to have you back again. And ladies, tune in next week. You all be blessed.